Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Shoot the Shit Saturday. It is I, Obsolete 2003, with our special guest, Kent Brockman.
Hello, Springfield.
And last but not least, it's Espionage DB7.
Well, does he always do this?
I'm just peaching out right now, man. I got something I want to tell you.
Yes.
When you were young and your heart was an open book, you used to say, live and let live. You know you did. Right?
Maybe.
You know you did. You know you did.
Listen to Guns N' Roses, Live and Let Die.
But if this ever-changing world in which we live in makes you give in and cry, say live and let die. Live and let die. I have my topic that I want to start today with, and yes, I am Espionage DB7, and I'm not even gonna bother doing my intro today because I know I'll get shot down by these two violent people.
Settle down.
No, violence.
At any rate, the topic, first and foremost, at the forefront of today's discussion, is live and let live. I am getting so fed up, and this is not a rant, by the way.
Of course it's
This is not a
Sounds
rant.
like a rant.
This is not a rant. I just have something I want to say. I feel like too many people are way too freaking concerned with everything going on around them that has nothing to do with them, that is no concern of theirs, and has just no bearing whatsoever. And people wanting to force and impose themselves, their beliefs, their creeds, their ways of life, whatever you want to call it, onto other people. And to me, my biggest thing is just live and let live, people. What is wrong with you? I'll give you an example. We have come off the heels of Pride Month, right? June was called Pride Month, and a lot of different businesses and things have been celebrating that. And I will say this, as a secure heterosexual male, I was not bothered whatsoever. What the hell was up with that snicker, huh? What the hell is that supposed to be about? What the fuck's up with that? You give people the wrong idea about me. What the hell? What the? You're giggling like a school. What?
Ken Brockman does not giggle.
Anyway, whether it be Pride Month, whether it be people flying rainbow flags, whether it be Christians trying to tell atheism to see the light of God and have you found your Lord and Savior Jesus and all that. I mean, people, does it really bother you? I mean, if you see something that you don't agree with, turn around and ignore it. Am I wrong here, fellas?
No, I mean, you're not wrong. It's just kind of, like you said, look the other way, and as long as it's not really negatively impacting you and all that good stuff.
I don't care about any other kind of people.
Yeah, well, that's a very good way of putting it. You don't care about any
I like
other...
to live by the Slayer credo, where no religion, no creed. You're all my enemies.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just the first gripe I want to get out from under my belt. And I'll have one that I'm going to specifically address. And this is the freaking controversy that has come up lately with the announcement of a live-action Little Mermaid with a black actress playing the Little Mermaid. And to me, this has stirred up all kinds of controversy, and I think it's ridiculous. And I'll tell you why. You don't give a damn about preserving the art or whatever the hell you say of The Little Mermaid. This is all a racist, zealotous thing that you're trying to impose. If you were a little girl, or even a little boy, whatever, when The Little Mermaid came out, and you grew up, if you didn't grow up to be a racist or a bigot, you're not gonna care. You're not really, first of all, if you don't have kids, and you know, you're more than likely, you may not go back and see that movie other than for nostalgia. And if you're not a bigot, you're not gonna care if it's a black, a white, Asian, whoever is playing The Little Mermaid. As long as the movie is done well, it's directed properly, it stays faithful, whatever, you're not gonna care. But you want to impose this nonsense onto children who this movie is aimed for, a new generation of children, and you use the guise of some sort of, you know, trying to preserve the original, whatever, the artistry, or however you want to put it. It's all a facade, and it's nothing but bigots and zealots. It's like, and if you don't like it, ignore it. Don't watch it. Don't spend money on it. You don't like it so much, don't go and see it. It's as simple as that. If it's something that you don't like, you know what? The Little Mermaid, the original, is still there. Go out, buy a fucking Blu-ray, buy a digital copy, watch it to your heart's content. Ignore the new one. Pretend it never happened. Pretend it's never getting made. Same thing goes for people who complain about just pretty much anything. I remember Mass Effect 3 got a lot of shit when it came out because of the fact that, oh, the ending wasn't what the fans wanted. It was, I'll admit, I'm a huge fan of the Mass Effect series, and the ending definitely got a little weird, and it's not what I would have expected or wanted, but I got hours and hours of awesome fun. It was an amazing game. And there were fans that were wanting their money back just because of the fact that the ending wasn't what they wanted, you know, and that's to me ridiculous. And everything, just to sum everything up, this is just my gripe of the week here. that's not becoming a new thing. It's not. I just.
Are you sure?
It's not.
Seems like a segment.
It's gonna replace the temporary the fallback Friday.
No,
there you go.
No, I'm not gonna have a gripe of the week. This is just everywhere I turn, there's people griping and complaining and bitching and whining and moaning about stuff that it's like it could be so easily resolved just by turning around, looking the other way, and avoiding it and ignoring it. And so that's my public service announcement for the week: is just live and let live, people. If it bothers you, ignore it. Avoid it. Turn the other way. Look away. Avert your eyes. Gouge out your own eyes for those who are jackasses. And live and let live.
Don't do drugs, kids.
That too.
Eat your vegetables.
That too.
And drink your milk.
And stop treating each other like crap, for God's sakes. Seriously. Be good to one another, goddammit.
Cycle.
Take your vitamins. Alright.
Did we talk about video games?
We're supposed to, aren't we?
No, that's what it was.
Yes.
Ken Brockman signed up for video games.
How's it going, Kent? How's everything in Springfield?
There's a fire going on tires, but that's been for 35 years. So.
That tire fire has not been put out yet?
Isn't that one of Springfield's major attractions, though?
Yes, but the children seem to be... Well, they're not doing well.
Well, I'm pretty sure I heard that that's why the children in Springfield don't age. Those fumes have some kind of, you know...
Those reports have not been confirmed.
Not substantiated yet?
Yes. How would I get all 3 drops into their cereal?
You're getting drops of liquid tire smoke or something?
No. We're not talking about this. Anyway.
What do you have to report, Kent?
Oh, Kent? Oh, nothing. I mean, on reports.
Who's got another topic? I got mine out of the way.
I thought we were gonna talk about that and how like the Little Mermaid's the worst Disney princess.
Oh yes, I heard this too because something about her being a whore or something.
Yeah, she sold her voice just to get laid.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
she forebode her own kingdom. If they're gonna give it to anybody, that's like the worst one to give them.
For boat? You mean for Sook?
For Sook, forebode. She forgot about it.
Abandoned.
Abandoned.
She
Yes.
absconded.
Anyway, Ariel's a whore.
I don't remember the Little Mermaid.
Doesn't matter her skin color. She's terrible. She's a terrible person. There's a dick in that movie. If they don't, if they need to keep that if they really want to keep the art.
What?
Yeah, there's a preacher who's doing the wedding, and you can see his boner.
Are you serious?
Look that up. It's a known thing.
I don't recall this.
Well, if you remember-
Is this what Ion Springfield is reporting on nowadays? Boners in Disney movies?
Also, the new hit game, General Jousting.
No, we're not talking about this damn genitalia regalia.
I think that's a fine video game.
It's not making its way. So, for any viewer who's tuning into this,
please leave in the comments
these
your
two doofs,
requests for General Jousting.
These two doofs have been playing a game called Genital Jousting, and the premise of the game. You guys are so immature. You guys, this is so immature. Jeez.
No, for no one who knows what you're talking about, like, well, these two guys are playing genital jousting. What do you think they're gonna think without a reference?
I'm trying to explain before you break out into giggling.
Explain it to these two doofs are just genital.
I didn't say you do.
For the record, S was watching, so. Just
Oh
throw it
my
out
god! Okay,
He was.
I didn't say.
I keep his eyes off it.
I didn't say you guys were genital jousting. I said you were playing genital jousting, which in the connotation of the sentence itself, the way it's presented, is immediately indicative of it being some sort of game rather than you two engaged in the act of genital jousting.
You know what the best part is? He's going to probably use a clip for this. So I got General Jousting on the channel.
Oh god damn it!
Hell yeah. Kent Brockman's job is done.
Yeah, well, if I may explain, there's a stupid game on Steam that, yes, Kent Brockman here has been trying to get on the channel, and I refuse. And you know what? In lieu of a clip, take these pictures of these happy puppies here.
Oh my! Oh, phew. That could have gone really bad.
Look at the puppies.
I will not show the game, but
look.
I will show this.
Look, puppies.
Don't put the puppies there.
No, and there's not.
Oh my god, that puppy's eating the other puppy.
No, he's not eating.
I know you're not going to. Now the puppy's turned to Godzilla.
No, stop.
It's two monsters fighting on the main street or whatever.
Oh my god, and the Beatles is playing in the background. What else can we copyright?
Shut up.
Let
me get this out. I mean, let me talk about this.
What do you need to get out?
So these two, there's a game on Steam, and no, it's not going to be presented here. It's not going to be shown, but they want to get it on the channel. It's the stupidest game ever. Stupider than Hand Simulator. Stupider than anything we may have played in the past. Called... I've said the name already. I don't need to repeat it. And it's just where your character is a giant literal dick, okay? And he has his name is Johnson or Peter or something, and he goes to work and he works in a vibrator.
Right? Also, of all the choice words he could have used, that's the one you went with?
Could go on flaccid tube of man meat.
It's a game of phallic stupidity. There, that's. How about that? Okay. Okay, and you guys are funny in the front for it.
What?
And
talking about our fronts.
Oh, you mean like the preacher and?
It's a game that made you feel funny in the front.
I don't know about that.
But at any rate, no, it's not gonna make it onto the channel. It's not. It's no.
Please leave your requests in the comments down below.
Nobody's gonna request this. Nobody's gonna request this. Nobody wants to see that.
I think you'll be surprised.
I better not be surprised. I refuse to partake in anything having to do with that game. It's ridiculous. Even by my standards, it's ridiculous, and that says something.
Oh no.
But you did watch it.
I did.
You guys coerced me into it.
I don't know if anyone coerced you or anything. You had to send an invite to watch it. You sent me an invite.
No, I didn't send you shit. You
accepted it at least.
Yeah, I accepted, but I didn't know what I was getting into, and it was. I don't even know what I'm gonna do for the thumbnail for this because I refuse to.
I feel there's more topics, but you know what? We'll just talk about General Jousting. Make sure that's the whole episode.
No.
Controversy and genitals.
Oh.
So did you hear about the G2A thing?
Oh, yes.
Don't get General Jousting on G2A.
So, what Kent Brockman is reporting on as far as G2A goes is that there is a game distribution company known as G2A who essentially is a piece of crap company. People...
Whoa. They're scum.
You know, we did have an outtake where I discussed whether being a piece of trash was worse than being a piece of crap.
I feel like I've heard this before.
Yeah, but that's a discussion for another time. Anyway, this company, what they do is they have no security measures in place whatsoever, and there is rampant credit card fraud on this channel. So what ends up happening is people will steal credit card numbers from consumers, use those credit card numbers to purchase games, and then sell those game keys on G2A. Once somebody purchases the game key, and after the fact that the credit card fraud is reported, you know, the credit card is reported stolen and the fraud is traced back to G2A, it becomes the responsibility of these developers to refund the money that was lost due to the credit card fraud, and at the same time they've lost out on the fact that a game was sold and they got no profit from it. So not only are they losing money because of the fact that, you know, people are buying their game and they are not profiting from it because it's through this third-party company, but they're also getting, you know, ousted out of additional funds because of the fact that they have to pay the refunds to these frauded customers. So a lot of indie developers have actually come out and plainly said, we'd rather you guys actually pirate our games than get it through this G2A thing. So that has to say something about your company. So yeah, that's sad, and I feel you know, bad for, especially for these indie developers, and for anybody who's just tuning in now. Our Shoot the Shit Saturdays have basically been a platform where we try to, we actually go on Steam and purchase these indie games, and you try to give them some attention, you know, and give them, you know, some shout out and praise if we think that they're worth it. So we're all about supporting our, you know, our indie developers here. So the fact that these poor startup developers are getting screwed in regards to this situation is, you know, it's really sad. You know, don't use G2A. Don't use it.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
You've been pretty quiet over there. Did you get on topic?
I don't know. You've been doing a whole lot of ranting over here.
I said it wasn't a rant. I said it wasn't a rant. And you could have added. You could have chimed in. You could have said something. And another thing.
Getting away from all these previous topics, I did end up seeing the MidSommar movie.
Oh.
I also saw MidSommar.
Really?
Yes.
Well, how about this? I'll take a few minute bow out and let you guys give a mini review or discussion. Have at it.
All right. Where would you like to start?
How do you feel about it compared to Hereditary?
Hereditary is a far superior film.
Really?
I loved Hereditary much more. MidSommar felt like it was artsy, and it wants you to know it was artsy, and it's not going to stop telling you it's artsy. It's going to tell you the college it went to, it's going to tell you the courses it took, and it's going to make you smell its own farts. And not just like sniff it, you're going to waft that, you're going to really enjoy it.
I have to chime in just to say that was a very apt comparison, and it's pretty funny.
Thank you. I've had these thoughts for MidSommar for a while, but Hereditary had that hint of artsiness to it, but it also had a solid horror movie. If anything, the ending of Hereditary was more non-mainstream, which, even though it wasn't, I enjoyed the ending. And MidSommar, I was more like, did I take the drugs during the film?
Yeah, there was a lot of drugs in the movie.
Yeah.
Because basically, there's a group of college students. They're getting ready to kind of write their thesis, and one of them is a native to Sweden. He's inviting the others to his native land, back to Sweden, because he was born and raised in the commune. And it was like every 90 years they have this huge celebration. So he invited him over, check it out, see what it's all about. And one of the main characters, he is kind of going through a shaky relationship. He doesn't quite know if he wants to stay in it anymore. He pretty much wants to bail, but he was gonna feel like the bad guy if he does break up. There is something very fatal happens to his girlfriend's family.
I think you can tell that's the first part of the movie.
That's true. Basically, the girlfriend's sister, and she's like bipolar. She ends up taking her own life and their parents' life, which puts the girlfriend in a downward spiral. The boyfriend feels bad, so he invites her. What is going to be an all-boys trip. He invites her, thinking she's not going to come along. She ends up coming along, and it's not necessarily a wrench in the system, but obviously the other three were not anticipating her showing up. They eventually get to Sweden. As soon as they get there, they get to where it's supposed to happen. It's like the person's brother, the guy from Sweden, his brother comes along. It's like, hey, how's everyone's going? Here's some mushrooms. And that's kind of when the drug trip starts.
It never ends.
Yeah, there's that. There's special tea. There's more drugs, and all along the way, there's part of this ritual that, if you're kind of familiar with the story of the Giver, that kind of sets the thing. They have it broken down by age groups, and like if from this age to this age you're considered a kid, from this age to this age you're considered an adult, from this age to this age you're considered kind of elderly, and then they ask, well, what happens after this age? They're like, you die, kind of thing.
Well, like Logan's Run?
I haven't seen Logan's Run, but that's why I made the reference to The Giver, if you have or have not read The Giver. Because basically in The Giver, in the book, spoiler alert for The Giver, it's like for old people, once you get to a certain age, they basically kind of
axe you?
Yeah, pretty much. But in this movie, it's part of their ceremony. When two of the elderly volunteer, not forcefully, but they basically volunteer to sacrifice themselves for the religion in a kind of gruesome way. Let's say like they kind of take a leap of faith, but it's not quite a leap of, well, it kind of is.
That
It's more like a leap off a cliff.
Yeah,
pretty much. And
that
it gets
director really likes his gore in that area.
Yes, it's gruesome, and for the outsiders that have came along, they were not aware of said ceremony, what this certain part of the ceremony. So of course they freak the fuck out. It's like, what the fuck just happened? And the locals are like, well, this is part of our religion. This is what it is. They signed up for it. We didn't force them. It was something that they did.
Is MidSommar a sequel to Hereditary, or in the same universe or anything?
It's just from the same director.
Yes, it's same director. Does not have any relations to do it with the Hereditary whatsoever. But
it has the same kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and eventually some of the outsiders kind of start freaking out. They decide it's time to skedaddle, and little by little they start kind of getting picked off, and until like there's a big ceremony at the end, and it's kind of crazy. But
hi,
yo, how's it going?
Who's that?
Who summoned the
that
doof?
guest? Who came? It's Ring.
What?
I can play that every time he comes in.
Please
You're
don't.
welcome.
so what's going on here?
That's it. You missed Controversy, and then you missed G2A, and right now we're talking about MidSommar. The timestamps are here.
Yes. So I have not seen MidSommar nor Hereditary, so I was letting these two, since they have seen it, kind of give a bit of a brief discussion, their thoughts on that. So
Please watch Hereditary. That's a really good movie.
Yes. I like MidSommar. It was pretty different from Hereditary. Hereditary is kind of a slow burn horror movie. MidSommar is kind of to the same extent, but it wasn't really horror. And I know F and I kind of talked about in the past, there's not really any jump scares or anything like that, any full-fledged boogeymen or monsters like that. It's kind of a different twist than you take on horror.
it struck me as kind of like a Wicker Man type vibe.
It had a lot of Wicker Man vibe to it.
Yes.
It did not need to be 2.5 hours, though.
God damn. That's a real slow burn.
It's a long cigarette.
There was some scenes that could have probably been condensed a little, or didn't have to quite be in there, but whatever. But it was still a fun movie. I liked it. If you're into these kind of movies where it's not just a slasher flick, lots of blood, lots of gore, I would still say check it out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got something I kind of want to add. It sort of reminded me with this.
What's up?
You guys talking about this MidSommar movie, and there's a game that I've been playing that kind of takes place in one of these villages. It's nothing crazy going on in the village, but it's like one of these like Swedish or European or something countries, and you guys kind of reminded me of it. I've actually been playing. I haven't done any videos on it, which I may actually do. I installed it to make sure that my controller software was installed and working correctly. It's a game for PC that requires controller input, and I kind of got hooked on it. I've had it for a long time, and I've never really played it. It's called Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. The game itself is spoken in, I believe it's Swedish. The premise of the game is there's two brothers, an older and a younger brother, and their mother has died. So basically, and their father's the only one who's left, but he's ailing, he's sick, and you're these two brothers who have been sent to get some sort of magical remedy or something to try and save your father. And you use a very limited set of buttons. You only use the two joysticks, the two triggers, and the D-pad, essentially, to kind of look around the camera. But you control both brothers with one controller. It'd be a great co-op game, I think, but I think part of the challenge is that it is designed to be played by one person with a single controller controlling both brothers. And it's actually a very, very interesting game. I know it got a lot of acclaim, and I got hooked on it. What I may end up doing, since I am enjoying it quite a bit, is I may end up going back and starting over and recording it for the channel. But just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on that. You guys kind of made me think of it when you were talking about this, and we are a gaming channel after all, so I wanted to give that out.
I don't know about all that, but Rip Torn died.
What? Rip Torn died?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Rest in peace, Rip Torn.
Yeah. He passed away peacefully at his home.
Well, that's good.
This Tuesday afternoon. With his wife and daughters by his side.
Ah, man.
He was
Shoot,
88.
I think I remember him from like Beastmaster, man.
Yeah, Men in Black.
Men in Black, Beastmaster. He was in those old. I think he was in one of the old freaking Lou Ferrigno Hercules movies. I think it was like one of the bad guys, or Zeus or somebody. Yeah. Oh, rest in peace, Rip Torn. My heart rips and is torn asunder for you.
Stop.
What?
The man's dead.
What? I'm saying.
He's not even in his grave to roll in it yet.
Taste.
For anybody wondering, Ring is joining us live via satellite phone.
I'm on my cell phone because I don't really bother to be on my computer right now because it's late.
Well, Actually, we're getting
Saturday
ready.
morning.
Well, we're getting ready actually to wrap things up, but we got a question of the week here. If you guys feel up to answering it,
Okay.
it's a simple one this time around, and it comes from our channel mascot, Michael Coffey. What is your favorite film or game of all time? No specific genre, just favorite film or game of all time, and why?
Road One.
Okay, and why?
It truly captures the spirit of the classic Empire versus Rebellion there. And it has such a thing where it's all sorts of shades of gray, because you have the extreme within the rebellion, and then you have those who are the traditional good-hearted, the fight for the good guys, rebels. And you see them at odds with each other because of the influence they could have on operations within the rebellion. And on top of that, you see the steps taken by the Empire to show its brutality, especially on Jeddah. So, even though the film was released, of course, in the low of the recent films, I feel like even though it was a recent film, it felt more true to the ideas that is Star Wars, especially since it's not skewed with the shit that is the Jedi, because it's a classic Empire versus Rebel storyline.
I know the costumes were spot on that one. I will admit something. I never saw it.
You do, because
I felt after I saw The Force Awakens, I fell out of love with Star Wars, and I haven't seen a single Star Wars movie after that.
Road One will easily recover that. Also, the X-Wing, or rather, the Road One brings out the best of Star Wars, right? Including space battles, a huge fleet-on-fleet action, literally one of the most epic space moments of all time right now, and more X-Wing and Y-Wing action that you really want, but you really didn't get out of the recent movies.
Like in Darth Vader in action.
Yeah, that was the best part of that movie.
But the moment I'm talking about, the epic space moment, is when the Hammerhead Corvette pushes the Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer.
Nobody knows what a Hammerhead Corvette is.
We all know what a Hammerhead Corvette is.
Okay, I don't know what a Hammerhead Corvette is.
You don't fucking know, but almost everybody who's seen the fucking film knows what
No,
it is.
they don't.
But
I don't know what a Hammerhead Corvette is.
obviously, he has seen it, so he probably knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
What's a Hammerhead Corvette?
It's a very giant big ship.
Describe the specifics of it.
Is it a little Hammerhead?
It's an Alderaanian
Like
Corvette.
a sledgehammer?
Yeah. It has a certain appearance, which makes it look like it has a hammerhead for the front, and has 3 engines in the back. And but it was used to ram and push a dead Star Destroyer into another one, causing them to collide and cause severe amounts of damage to the station that was in the way.
I remember that scene now.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would say easily it was one of the most epic moments of space in film history.
Cool.
Just how it actually.
I don't know why it doesn't use light speed. Does it go into everything?
Alright, so who else has got a game or movie?
For me, right now, just because I've been seeing it recently, it will change. But for now, my favorite movie right now, I would say, is Big Trouble in Little China. Yes,
It's an awesome movie. It's just got a perfect blend of comedy and action. It's one of those that does the balance well, and it's hard to do.
Yes, it's another John Carpenter movie. Kurt Russell, and I'm not really big into like actors and whatnot, but like Kurt Russell's just one of those badasses, and just the chemistry in that movie, the acting, sometimes overacting, but nonetheless. And I've always watched that movie as a kid growing up, and it's a lot of good fond memories. And just watching it as an adult, it still holds true. Just still having a blast watching it. And yeah, it's like if it's on TV, I'll stop what I'm doing, I'll watch it, or just have it in the background. But for now, I think that's my favorite movie right now.
Fun fact, I actually stopped at Ob's place after work one of these days, and it was about a week ago or so, and that was on, and we actually just sat and watched it. It was
Yes.
like near the beginning, and I'm right there with you. I love that movie just as much too. It's like Jack Burton always says, when the thunder's rumbling and the sky is pouring and the pillars of heaven are shaking, Jack Burton always says, "What the hell?"
Yes, all the one-liners. It's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes. All right, so Mr. Brockman, do you want to go next or should I?
You go ahead. I'm trying to think of something.
All right. So it's no secret what my favorite game is to the channel, and as a matter of fact, I plan to do something special with that down the line. But I'm gonna give my favorite movie as well, and I think I've brought it up as well in the past. But my favorite all-time movie is, bar none, the original 1984 RoboCop. I absolutely love everything about that movie, from his design. I think the RoboCop armor is one of the coolest looking things I ever laid eyes upon. His movements, the way he moves, looks so robotic. The plot of it, it's basically a modern day Frankenstein story. Somebody who gets killed in the line of duty, an officer killed in the line of duty, and true grit, real gritty. A patrolman, not some detective like the new stupid movie, and I'll rant about that some other time. But I mean, not rant because I don't rant.
You must be a fan of the new movie.
Fuck the new movie. Fuck completely, entirely, off the face of the earth. Okay, but anyway, the original RoboCop is just I just love it. I love it. There's every scene I can find something. I find purchase in every scene of that movie, from the part where he's being constructed and you see it through his point of view, to the very first, lose the hand, everything. I just love the original, the violence,
it's so violent.
Yeah, I love the. That's probably the first. I saw that movie when I was real young, but I had my mother was always good at putting things into perspective for me. I actually did not have much censorship on the movies that I watched, and I think I turned out all right. but yeah, I watched that probably around, I'd say I was like 6 or 7, and no, I don't know. I love the design of Ed 209. It just, everything about it, RoboCop has his own one-liners, dead or alive, you're coming with me. Your move, creep. It's like, it's just, that's my favorite movie of all time, bar none.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, how about
Red
you?
Foreman as the bad guy? Yes,
Dude,
please.
yeah, hell yeah. Sayonara, RoboCop.
You dumbass. Anyways,
What? You're a dumbass. Anyway,
Mr. Brockman.
quote Red Foreman. But anyways, you didn't catch it, so whatever.
oh,
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, 70. I never watched the 70s show.
Never. Everyone's seen the memes.
You really should watch. Man, you don't watch a lot of things that actually are really good to watch. Like 70 Show is a good show to watch.
It's pretty
Meh.
good.
It is.
You ever seen Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes.
Eh.
And that was an amazing show too.
It's a pretty good show. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Is that
You
your
ever see the
favorite?
best?
That-
No, my favorite anime is King of the Hill.
What?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy because I watched it like so many times, but I don't think that's my favorite movie. But I watched it recently, and I was like, man, it's hitting harder
Undecided?
than before. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Guardians was just a really good movie for me.
Okay,
I
so
didn't think I was gonna like it at all.
So we got Rogue One, Big Trouble Little China, RoboCop, and Undecided. I mean, Ken Brockman doesn't have time to watch
They
movies.
Live?
He's out there. Ooh, They Live. There's a good one.
For video games, we War Thunder at this moment.
Pacific Rim?
You sound like you're asking instead of telling.
Evil Dead. Django Unchained. I'm just reading off my Blu-rays now. All right.
The teleprompter.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess that brings us to our indie game of the week, and
General Jousting.
no, it's not. It is not that. I refuse to even
Indie
speak it.
developer.
I refuse to even speak its name at this point.
What name?
So
I will not sully my lips with that game's name.
What name?
Ask them. I'm not gonna say it.
What game?
General Justin.
It is not. See,
It's an actual
Yeah,
game.
see, it's an indie game that people need to hear about.
people don't need to.
Now, this was made by Freelize.
No, that is not the game. That is not the indie game of the week. No, it's not. This week's indie game of the week is one called Shell
Is
Shock.
the indie game called Empyrion?
Oh, we haven't had that one, but we can have that one next week. Or unless you know what, Ring. If you want to make that the indie game of the week, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Talk about it, but introduce it.
All right. Empyrion is a space exploration / survival game by the company Alien Studios. It is an early release game you can find on Steam. Me, S, and Obs have played it before. I think I've played the most extensively out of us three. It is a very, very deep and still developing game, which has added features such as base attached and complex in order to destroy your foundations, your base, your structures, and all that stuff. You can explore space, jump to other systems. There's even factions in the game now.
Is there?
Yes. You can do missions in order to gain reputation with those factions. You can either do mining of resources in those areas that are being harassed or otherwise.
It is a huge game. I was very impressed by the scope of the game itself. So it definitely does deserve a spot as our indie game of the week. I'm actually sorry that I have not brought it up sooner, because that definitely deserves, some love.
Yes. They recently just did the update the game to Alpha 10, which was, like I said, actually now you can get shields on your ships or buildings in the game, as well as some features. Definitely recommend for anyone who likes those kind of games. It's not for everyone because some people don't like exploration games, but definitely would recommend.
Awesome, thank you for that. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'm very sorry that I haven't made that in any game of the week, because yeah, it definitely deserves it. I guess we had just played it for a good long while back, and that it was not at the forefront of my mind, but yeah, it definitely deserves a spot there. But I think that's gonna just about do it. I'm gonna end this week's session with, I don't have a YouTuber to shout out this week. What I'd like to do is kind of give a shout out and a thank you to our core members and our guest players that are part of us here that make up Odds and Ends Gaming. Obviously, core members would be Obsolete 2003, Ringleader, or as he's known sometimes, Ringleader 064, Valkyrie Grinder, who could not be with us here today. I myself am Espionage DB7. I want to give a special shout out to who's come to be known as our channel mascot, Mr. Michael Coffey. Our guest players who have joined us from time to time. We have, for lack of a better name for now, for a more universal name, Cousin Obs, who is gone today by Kent Brockman. We also have our good friend Z from Croatia, Jess, who's joined us from time to time, Mellow Lives, who's joined us on a couple of streams as well. We've got, Val's Pals, Gilf Strife, I believe is the name of one of them. I myself have not played with Val's Pals, but I know, Obs, you have. Christopher, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. We've got Death the Fox Goddess, and lastly, a gentleman who hasn't been around too much lately, but he's joined us as a guest commentator, Mr. William Marcel, or sometimes as he goes by, Charles. So for all of our core members, for all of our guest players, guest commentators, and everything, those are the people that make up Odds and Ends Gaming, and thank you to all of you. Thanks to us.
Yes. And settle down.
Cheers.
Yeah, so that's just about gonna do it for this week's edition of Odds and Ends Gaming. Mr. Brockman, thank you for joining us.
I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords.
Fair enough.
Again, Ringleader joined us about halfway through, or thank you for joining us, Ring.
Yeah.
And then I'm Espionage DB7, and joined by, as always, my partner in crime, Doofsalit 2003, and it's funny to me.
Lame.
Anyway, happy Saturday, everyone. Take care. If you liked what you saw, remember, like, share, subscribe, but most importantly, settle down. Have a good one.